What do primitive tribes, waking nightmares, and cyber knights have in common? Apparently, Kickstarter. Find out more on this week's episode of Signal Boost. Hey kids, been a little bit since the last Signal Boost, but I promise it's back and in a big way. I'm Signal Warden, and this week we seem to have a Kickstarter theme, with 2 projects that currently need backing and one that's made it through and is getting ready to drop. The first is a nomadic RTS, the second is a highbrow adventure game, and the last, but in no way the least, a badass sword-based fighter. Ready? Good. Let's go. Unwritten, That Which Happened, is one of those Kickstarter projects that makes you wonder what is wrong with people. The idea is so fresh and interesting, and you can't understand why gamers aren't flinging money at it like a politician in a whorehouse. Let me give you the setup. You're directing a tribe who are making their way across the harsh tundra in search of their god. It uses a turn-based hex tile system, where you control multiple units who all share resources. It's like a high-minded Oregon Trail. The minds behind the game seem to be coming at it with a tabletop game mentality, which, with a game like this, I feel is a valuable and appropriate approach. Cutscenes and moments of decisions are delivered through clever animations that are based on wayang, the Indonesian shadow puppet theater style found in Bali and parts of Java. The music also reflects the tribal aspect through a mishmash of different cultural sounds. Like many games being created right now, there is some roguelike permanence in play, and Rockslu Games, the developers behind Unwritten, are promising that no 2 playthroughs will be alike. A promise we've heard more times than I want to think about, but is delivered on way less than it's made. However, the passion and drive behind the game is palpable, and I urge anyone who is able to do so to help fund these guys if you can do that, and at the very least, get the word out.
I hope you'll agree that the idea is fresh and exciting, and share our passion enough to pledge to the project.
Just a heads up, this is not the same as the indie horror adventure game that dropped back in November. Here we have another Kickstarter project from a new studio, Lucky Paws. That almost fell through the crack. I'm gonna be upfront and say that at first glance there are some cliche elements to this game's premise. Being in an abandoned area, not knowing where you are, the Terrence Malick aesthetic vibe. It reminds me a lot of the first impression I got of Dear Esther. And that's the rub. I personally loved Dear Esther. I'm fully aware that there was endless bitching and moaning about how it wasn't a game and nothing happened, blah, blah, blah. I saw it as the first serious step towards diversifying storytelling in a new medium of interactive games. That's the thing that puts Homesick on my radar. Here's the chance for someone with a new voice to tell a new story in a new way. Now, the art isn't finished, so while there are visual similarities right now, don't expect it to stay that way. The current visuals are striking though, and contrast between an expansive sunlit villa and an ectoplasm-filled house of nightmares. Also, if you watch their Kickstarter video, you'll understand that the dog clearly deserves to have his vision brought to life. For real though, go and help Homesick and get the word out for a chance to deal another blow to the games aren't art crowd.
Games that offer new perspective and insight. We believe that games can be more than just entertainment. They can also be unique and memorable experiences. Thank you so much for watching this and joining us on this journey.
Now on to a game that had a successful Kickstarter campaign and is getting ready for release. I personally just always loved fighters. I was that kid in the arcade that would hog Soul Calibur or Tekken for 2 hours, spamming Yoshimitsu combos, pissing everyone else off who dropped a quarter. Needless to say, I did a happy dance when I saw an upcoming fighter with an awesome selection of badass swords. Blade Symphony is a sword-based fighting game that centers around duelists from 3 different factions. The thing that grabbed me when I came across this was the visuals. The characters have such a distinct and elaborate style that I think the many games strive for but usually come up short. The concept of dueling is great, and it appears the combat will take place in closed-off arenas, though some modes allow for free range of the map. They're throwing in weapon and armor upgrades as well, though I'm not entirely sure if they're stat changes or if they're purely aesthetic. The group making the game, Puny Human, has been awesome about putting up regular and deep info about the game's creation and process. The whole thing is being built on the back of the Source engine, and they seem to have real talent. This is the kind of game that consistently proves that indie devs can hold their own in the gaming arena. Puny Human hasn't announced a specific release date yet, but have stated that the game will be coming out very soon. So keep checking back here, check their official website, or check the Puny Human Twitter to stay in the know. That wraps up Signal Boost for the week. Be sure to check out the links for everyone we discussed below, and please like and subscribe so we can get a boost too. I'm Signal Warrior. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.